Good evening, Sox fans. Alongside Brad Klein, Will Connerly here with you in for the second consecutive day. The Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox are set to take on the Brewster Whitecaps, who are now alone in first place atop the East Division after shutting down the YD Red Sox yesterday, much thanks to the lefty Bryce Hubbard. He ran through YD's order, but most opposing pitchers have the last 4 games are just hitting $140.
Yeah, YD's offense as a whole is very cold, and for a while, the absence of Brooks Lee didn't seem to matter that much because Wyatt Hoffman was hitting at an incredible pace, but he's since cooled off, and he can't be expected to carry the team. This, I'm saying, as he's getting set to lead off this game, but someone else has to step up, and in this case, more than one person has to step up, especially in the absence of Nate Baez.
So Wyatt Hoffman atop the order for the YD Red Sox, going to lead things off. He had that big 9-game hitting streak, and atop the order now, Peyton Graham drops in the order. He's been mainly the mainstay atop the order and going to be up against another southpaw today and a pretty good one in Pete Hansen from Texas.
Pete Hansen, a guy that has a lot of upside, but recently has lost some velocity coming off his COVID freshman year at Texas, and he was very good in that COVID freshman year, but he lost some velo from the low to mid-90s in his true freshman year to the high 80s in his COVID freshman season, so Hansen has had to reinvent himself a little bit.
Let's have a ball game.
As you hear it from the public address, we're going to have a ball game here. Wyatt Hoffman going to start us off at Stony Brook as YD looks to get off the schneid. They've lost 3 of their past 4 games, but Wyatt Hoffman atop the order will try to be the table setter for the YD Red Sox. First pitch a strike as the lefty gets going and settling in here as the rain comes down. The mist was consistent most of the day yesterday. The field took a lot of rain, but the game was able to be played with no showers mainly in effect as Hoffman grounds it over to shortstop, and he's retired. First out, 2 pitches in. Hansen retires Hoffman, and now Tanner Smith to the plate, top of the first with 1 out.
Yeah, Wyatt Hoffman is getting weak contact early on against Pete Hansen. That's a great sign for Hansen to get it off the end of the bat, and Wyatt Hoffman with an easy 6-3 putout.
Faltini, the shortstop, made the play, threw it over to Jake Thompson, who's at first. Zach Neto at second. Nick Biddison behind the plate. Mac Bingham, Dylan Carter, and Spencer Jones in the outfield. Alex Freeland over at the hot corner.
Surprised to see Freeland playing in so much.
With the left-handed hitter, Tanner Smith takes the second pitch. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Top of the first just underway here at Brewster for the second consecutive day.
Now Smith's 0 for 4 yesterday, snapped a 6-game hitting streak. He doesn't want to bunt here, especially in the rain. And maybe the thought for Freeland playing pretty much on the grass at third is that if a ground ball is hit his way, it's going to be a slow roller. With the grass actually pretty high here at Stony Brook and the rain, maybe that's the thought, but it does look like he's almost playing to bunt.
Yeah, 2 balls and a strike. You mentioned Tanner Smith. He had that hitting streak snap, but he was previously 9 for his past 18. He started going on a tear and hitting second in the order, the Oregon outfielder, with 2 balls and a strike here against the lefty. Brewster, they've been one of the best pitching teams in the league. If it weren't for YD tallying a run in the 9th yesterday, it would have been their 6th shutout as a team. After the incredible performance on the mound from Bryce Hubbard last night, the lefty out of Florida State, Hansen trying to follow him up. The 3-1 grounded right side. Zach Neto backhands it at second, throws it over to first, and Tanner Smith is retired after a nifty play over by Neto at second base.
Nifty indeed. Neto not really panicking at any point, and Smith runs very well, especially on those plays where it looked like off the bat he was going to be able to turn it into an infield single, but Neto kept his composure.
So the lefty, Pete Hansen, from Texas, 6'2", 205. Figures to be a mainstay here in the Whitecaps rotation as the first pitch in there for a strike, and A lot of the Whitecaps, they've been getting better, throwing the ball more effectively with more time on the mound in terms of their starting rotation. They've got really good production from their starters, and that helps a team who hasn't swung the bat very well this season have success. They've won 4 in a row, and they're atop the East Division, a ball and a strike to the catcher, Cody Huff.
That just proves how quickly things can change, not only in the CCBL, but in the Eastern Division especially, where all the teams are bunched up so closely. Brewster's playing well right now, and now they're in first place. But if they start to fall off a little bit and get away from what's gotten them here, which has been the pitching, then they'll be in trouble.
Last time for Hansen on the mound, it was his debut. This is the last time Brewster lost is when Hansen was on the mound. Grounded to short over to Faltini. Over to first, throw is a little wide, but it's Thompson who gets back on the bag. And it's a 1-2-3 top of the first for the lefty Hansen. He sets down YD in order with 3 groundouts, and we go to the bottom of the first next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Brad Klein, Will Connerly with you, and it's no score, bottom of the first, and Zach Jacobs' first pitch of the game, swing and a miss from the leadoff hitter Dylan Carter for the Whitecaps.
Well, Jacobs back in the rotation for YD. After a shaky first start, 2 innings, 7 runs. Tried to find his role in the bullpen, but he wants to be a starter. UC Riverside wants him to be a starter, and YD needs him to be a starter right now in the absence of a lot of other pitchers.
Swing and a miss by Carter on the offering. Makes it a ball and 2 strikes from Jacobs. And yeah, you mentioned it. He was in the rotation, had a rough start against Katuitt, 2 innings, 7 runs, but he's pitched more effectively out of the bullpen as the pitch misses outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Dylan Carter, swinging it from the left side, the center fielder for Brewster.
In fact, well, I think you can actually make the argument.
Strike 3 called as the upstairs fastball rings up Dylan Carter, and Zach Jacobs gets the first out in the bottom of the first. And let's hear that argument. What's that argument?
You can make the argument that Zach Jacobs is making the biggest start of the season for YD right now for multiple reasons. One of them being you're playing Brewster, a team that just beat you here less than 24 hours ago and is destined to be one of those Eastern Division rivals throughout the season. And like we just alluded to, he needs to be in the starting rotation with all the other missing pieces and the floating pieces that Scott Pickler has to manage in the rotation. If Zach Jacobs can be consistent, then he's in a really good spot, and that puts YD in a good spot too.
He's been consistent the beginning of this outing and the beginning of the at-bat here to Spencer Jones. Called strike, and then he fouls it back in an 0-2 hole. The left-handed hitting right fielder from Vanderbilt. And yeah, being consistent for Zach Jacobs. He tossed 80 innings at UC Riverside, but didn't have too pretty of a win-loss record. The 0-2 misses upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes. Spencer Jones 1 for 3 yesterday with a run driven in. Had a walk and a strikeout as well, hitting .235 on the season. Hit .274 at Vanderbilt. Bowser gloves it at first. A flip over to Jacobs, and there's 2 away.
And then there's the added factor of YD is not playing very well right now. So just to get off the schneid, like you said earlier,
Now to the
that's
plate,
big.
the second baseman from Campbell.
He's got 2 quick outs. Zach Jacobs has the right-hander out of UC Riverside making his second start. And with the carousel and the orchestra that you have to construct, having a strong starting rotation, very important for a team. And when you look at some of the starters that have question marks, you have a formidable 1-2 punch in Luis Ramirez, and Pat Gallagher is the first pitch in there for a strike to Zach Neto, the second baseman for Brewster. But after that, there's some question marks. Franklin has been in and out of the rotation, along with Adam Meyer, questions of how deep he goes into games, and Nick Domkowski, who not with the team anymore right now, as Neto gets plunked, hit by the pitch, and he'll take first base with 2 outs. He gets aboard, and that extends the inning to Jake Thompson, the cleanup hitter.
Well, I said this in the first bout from Stony Brook Field yesterday, but after a hit by pitch with the miss, you have to wonder if Jacobs has a good enough grip on that baseball, and if that might have something to do with it, because that was a fastball that just got away from him. It's not like it was a breaking ball that he lost, or a curveball that didn't curve. That was a fastball that never was in the strike zone.
So you've got Neto at first, and back-to-back hit by pitches. This one hits Jake Thompson and puts Cody Huff down for a second. The breaking ball just nicked Thompson, so 2 pitches thrown. The last 2 pitches thrown by Zach Jacobs. He's hit the batter. Back-to-back pitches hit Whitecaps hitters, and now they're on first and second with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. After 2 quick outs, he struck out Dylan Carter, had a ground out on Spencer Jones. He hits Zach Neto and Jake Thompson, and now Alex Freeland comes to the plate with 2 outs and 2 aboard in the bottom of the first, no score.
See, but if I'm Zach Jacobs, I can live with that curveball that hits the elbow of Jake Thompson, right? Because that's just going to happen. That's just the victim of circumstance there. The fastball was a little concerning.
First pitch in there for strike 1 to Alex Freeland. And when you had Neto on first with 2 outs, he had 4 stolen bases on the year. And what came into my mind is, are people going to keep running on Cody Huff? He threw out 3 base runners in a game yesterday. He's thrown out all but 1 would-be base stealer so far this season. He's been really good behind the plate, but not a factor now with runners on first and second. And Jacobs trying to work out of a couple runners on base in the bottom of the first. No score. Alex Freeland at the plate. The 0-1 from Jacobs misses outside to Freeland.
I actually think this is a pretty good sign for Jacobs so far. It's going to be interesting to see if he can work out of this jam, but he's throwing the ball pretty well.
Just a few hits batsman is all, as Freeland hits this one to the right side but foul. So now a ball and 2 strikes. Alex Freeland, freshman from UCF, didn't play in yesterday's game, hitting .167 on the season, 10 strikeouts, 4 walks, hit .288 with 5 home runs at UCF in his freshman campaign. And at the plate now with a ball and 2 strikes, 2 aboard and 2 away, bottom of the first. Jacobs comes set, the pitch is high, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's a good pitch by Jacobs there. He meant to elevate the fastball, because after a loud foul ball down the right field line, you don't want to take any chances, and if you can get Freeland to chase out of the zone, that's what you want to do.
Jacobs comes set. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a time is called. Brewster with 5 shutouts on the mound. They've got Pete Hansen, who worked through Whitey's order in 1-2-3 fashion. And now in the bottom frame of the first, they've got 2 runners aboard, both reached after Zach Jacobs hit the batter. Neto and Thompson on back-to-back pitches, but now he's got a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Here to Alex Freeland. The pitch, breaking ball, misses, count runs full. Zach Jacobs started walking toward YD's dugout. The call was not made by Jason Klump, the home plate umpire, and now the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runners on first and second. Thompson on first, Neto on second, and Freeland at the plate hitting with a full count. Bottom of the first. Rain coming down here at Stony Brook as Jacobs comes set the pitch. And ball is skied up toward the shortstop. Pascal Ferreras is under it, and he will catch it in the outfield for the 3rd out. 2 runners stranded, no runs, no hits, 2 left, and no score after 1 on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
That was strike 3, by the way.
Pick up your free pocket schedule at the front gate or at the souvenir stand. And be sure to visit the Brewster Inn and Chowder House and the Milkshake Bar on Route 6A near the junction of Route 120.
Top of the second, no score with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. And Peyton Graham, who's accustomed to leading off innings, being YD's leadoff hitter, dropped down to the cleanup spot. He will lead off the top of the second. No score. Pete Hansen, he was pretty effective in the first inning, getting 3 groundouts. And now he'll face Peyton Graham, Pascal Ferreras, and Drew Bowser here in the second. First pitch, breaking ball, misses low. Not completely gloved by Biddison, the catcher. He throws it back after the breaking ball missed the strike zone to Peyton Graham. Rain still in effect. And next breaking ball misses low, so back-to-back off-speed pitches here to Peyton Graham, the designated hitter from Oklahoma. And a 2-ball, no-strike count. The offering from Hansen, grounded to the left side foul.
Peyton Graham not playing the field today for the first time ever as a Red Sox. Scott Pickler wants to DH him, maybe a pseudo day off for the outfielder, infielder, jack of all trades, and if that's the case, he could use it.
The 2-1 to Peyton Graham. Graham fouls it away to the right side this time, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes after the ball went out of play. Now Hansen, the lefty, the fastball can eclipse 90 miles per hour. You mentioned he lost some velocity from his first to second year at the collegiate level, but it didn't necessarily completely hurt his effectiveness as that ball's fouled back. 83 and a third innings pitched in 2021, 19 games, 14 starts, had a 9-1 record with a 1.88 ERA. So he was ultra effective for a very good Texas team. Allowed opponents to hit right at the Mendoza line at 2:01, and he gets Peyton Graham to strike out. He's retired 4 in a row to begin his outing.
Well, Peyton Graham is having a really tough time picking up the baseball right now, and it continues today with a strikeout. Had a couple of strikeouts yesterday, actually 3. And he's back at it again with another strikeout. Now, you'd like to think that he finished the game yesterday off strong with a double. You'd like to think that that would turn it around for him, but that strikeout, chasing the fastball high that was never in the zone, that's disappointing to see.
Pascal Ferreras at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, nobody on, top of the second. And he fouls it back. And the thing about Hansen is he actually spent some time at the back end of the bullpen for Texas in the 2020 season, picked up a save, and started the 2021 season as a reliever, became a full-time starter, though, and for a pretty good reason. He finished the season with a 13 strikeout game, a career high for him. And so he was really effective as a starter, Brad. And you see guys who make the transition from the bullpen to start, and they get more calm. He's throwing, mid to upper 90s as the freshman, but as the starter, you may throw 80 to 100 pitches for a game, and you may not be a guy who can have maximum effort each pitch to keep that endurance as he gets Pascal Ferreras to chase a high fastball, and now a ball and 2 strikes here with 1 away.
It's definitely a different dynamic. Some people are comfortable with either. Some people are more comfortable with one. He seems to be the kind of guy that can contribute in either role.
Pitch misses low, and he contributed at a high level, mentioning that 200 opponents batting average, one of the best marks in the Big 12. Freshman All-American team in 2 consecutive seasons because he was a second-year freshman. And the 2-2, swing and a miss on the breaking ball. Pascal Ferreras is retired, and 2 consecutive swinging strikeouts for Hansen to begin the second. Drew Bowser now to the plate.
Ferreras again with the strikeouts, and you'd like to think that with his speed he'd be more inclined to chop down on a ball when he wants to and just try to get an infield single here and there. Just put contact on the baseball because his speed is invaluable.
Drew Bowser at the plate, takes the first pitch for a ball. Zach Liu on deck, 2 outs. If Bowser can extend the frame, top of the second, no score. Bowser got his first hit as a Red Sox yesterday. And the 1-0 from Hansen. Grounded up the middle, but gloved by Hansen. And the pitcher flips it over to Thompson at first. And another 1-2-3 frame for the lefty. 6 up, 6 down. And in the middle of the second, no score, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left for the Red Sox. We go to the bottom of the second next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Off the page. From
Back on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Brad Klein. Zach Jacobs for his second frame of work. First pitch a strike to Will Simpson. 0-1 the count. Strike two by Jacobs, a 0-2 hole. Bottom of the second and no score. But the elements in effect as the rain coming down, and you wonder if it continues to persist as Zach Jacobs makes quick work of Will Simpson and a 3-pitch strikeout. He catches Simpson looking to begin the first, and Jacobs notches his second strikeout of the game, one away in the bottom of the second.
He's throwing the ball really well today, and I hope that what you were about to say doesn't actually come to fruition for Jacobs' sake, that the rain continues to come down and the game is called early, because this, right now, very limited sample size, this is the best I've seen Zach Jacobs. The curveball going for a strike, and the fastball is even more respected because of the curve.
Yeah, the curveball-fastball combination from the right-hander. It gets a broken bat from Faltini. Ferreras quickly, and Bowser climbs the ladder, but they say no. He was off the bag after Ferreras' throw had Bowser climbed the ladder, but they say no, that Bowser was off the pillow at the time, and it's going to be Faltini aboard with one out in the bottom of the second.
Be curious to see what they rule this. It doesn't look like
they have a tally on the E column.
Yeah, there you go. I actually think I would have given it a hit. Pascal Ferreras not happy, and Scott Pickler is having a word, not because of the ruling, the official scoring, but because of the call at save man at first. He thinks that Bowser anchored his leg on the bag, but there's really no way to decipher that. The funny thing is, I think the home plate umpire had the better vantage point than Bill Julie, the first base umpire. Jason Klump, even though he was 90 feet away, he had the better angle.
Now Nick Biddison up to the plate with one out and one aboard after the error by Pascal Ferreras. That was a bang play over at first, but the ruling in effect was that, hey, Bowser, he left the bag and was off the bag at the time that the throw got over.
And assuming it's an error on Ferreras, that's now his 5th of the season, leads the team.
Pascal Ferreras at short with Wyatt Hoffman at second up the middle. Bowser at first and Zach Liu over at third base with Cody Huff behind the plate, catching Zach Jacobs, who's pitching here to Nick Biddison. And the first offering to him popped up. Over to center field. Briley Knight under it, and he makes the catch for the second out. So 2 away with 1 aboard, and Mac Bingham up to the plate here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second, no score.
Now batting from Arizona.
Well, Jacobs doing a good job keeping his composure on the mound, right? He was not happy with a ball call in the last at-bat of the bottom of the first inning, didn't let it get to him. A pitch or two later, it was a pop-up weekly hit to Pascal Ferreras at short. Here, he's not happy with the call at first, has a one-out base runner, and what does he do? He forces weak contact to shallow center field. So Zach Jacobs doing a good job with his mental toughness early on.
Mac Bingham, the 9th place hitter in the order, the left fielder from Arizona, coming from a team that produced a lot of talent, one of the most highly powered offenses in the country, and the strike on the breaking ball, the first offering to Bingham. He watches it, so a 0-1 count. Bingham dealt with some injury at Arizona toward the tail end of the season. Was a big factor, though, in the middle of the Wildcats' order. 0-1 the count with 2 outs. You've got Faltini at first, who reached on an error as Bingham fouls it back off himself and then over to the right side. 0-2 the count.
And Cody Huff, the catcher for Jacobs, pointing to him saying, hey, that was a really good pitch. That's exactly how we drew it up. Let's do it again. I don't think he's going to be able to foul it off. That's the message that Huff sends Jacobs there.
We'll see if he can't do it again, and we'll see if that spike curve is dialed up by Mr. Huff. YD's backstop. He drops down the signs, and Jacobs comes set. Faltini at first and the 0-2. Fastball, and he did not get him looking. It was outside for a ball and 2 strikes. just off the plate, but Zach Jacobs, for the second time during this game, he's had a different opinion than Jason Klump, the home plate umpire, on if it were a ball or a strike, but that one just missed a little bit outside. A ball and 2 strikes now to Bingham, and another check over at Faltini. He gets back in time. As Zach Jacobs working here on the mound in the rain. The white uniforms with the YD Red Sox logo. And Zach Jacobs donning the high socks, trying to work out of the second with a runner aboard, no score, 2 outs, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count here to Mac Bingham. And the 1-2. Fouled away once again, this time toward Brewster's dugout. As Dylan Carter waiting on deck, he struck out looking to begin the bottom of the first, the leadoff hitter on deck. If the inning should extend, Jacobs trying to work around an error from Pascal Ferreras, which you mentioned, his team-leading fit there of the season when the throw was high to Drew Bowser over at first. Tanner Smith, Briley Knight, Tyler Williams patrolling the outfield for Scott Pickler today. As Jacobs comes set. And another look over at Faltini. And he's back with plenty of time. Bowser not able to apply a tag. Back in standing. Rain still coming down, a persistent drizzle here at Brewster, and the 1-2. Fouled away once again. But you also wonder about the rain that this field took in days prior and how that potentially could play a factor into how well it can handle water. Not just, you're not dealing with a field that was dry to begin the day. It's taken a beating in terms of the precipitation over the past couple of days with the rain in the area.
Yeah, it has. And the rule of thumb is it's dark infield, that's okay. When it starts to get shiny and glossy with the rain, that's when you have a problem.
And you see that, of course, it's damp in the area of the mound, and that's when in between those metal cleats you start to get some of that gunk on the bottom of the cleats. Is that how you describe it, the gunk? Or
Gunk.
Junk.
And
Junk. Mud.
Yeah.
And you've got to get it all out. You got heavier cleats when it gets wet as well. And 1-2 pitch misses high, and that also sometimes happens. What happened there, it looked like, is it kind of slipped out of your hand, the breaking ball, when it gets wet as well, not getting on top of it. Can happen when it's dry, too, but when it's wet, that's more of a factor, too.
And it's more prone to happen for a guy like Zach Jacobs who relies on that curveball. Pitching in the rain might not be his forte.
And the 2-2 pitch here to Mac Bingham. Fouled away once again. Bingham with a good at-bat here, 4 foul balls. Zach Jacobs working here, trying to get out of the bottom of the second with Faltini at first. And Bingham at the plate. But the battery of Zach Jacobs and Cody Huff trying to find a way to put Bingham down. But he's fouled off 4 pitches, 2 off himself. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs as the mist continues to come down at Stony Brook Field. The pitch misses low. Huff blocks it, though. He drops down to his knees, and the ball hits off his chest protector. And they're going to ask for a new ball as Jason Klump throws it over to Brewster's dugout. And that's what also you're going to see in a game that is wet like this. A lot of times when the pitchers get the ball back, hey, give me a new one whenever it gets wet, and you're going to have that pretty consistently whenever the ball is going to be put in play at this point now as well with the field with the damp conditions. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, the payoff pitch. Misses inside, and Mac Bingham draws a walk after Zach Jacobs had him with 2 strikes. He persisted, had foul ball after foul ball, and eventually draws the free pass. The lineup flips back over to the leadoff hitter, Dylan Carter, up here with runners on first and second, 2 outs, bottom of the second, and no score.
That's a very good take by Bingham there, and an even better at-bat to stay alive and make Jacobs really, really earn it. And especially in a day like today where the strike zone seems to be a little bit smaller. That's okay if it's consistent, a little bit smaller than usual. Bingham really prevailed.
Swing and a miss on the first offering from Jacobs by Carter. 4 base runners today for Brewster, but no hits. 2 hit by pitches, 1 walk, and 1 error. And they've got 2 aboard here in the second as they did in the first, but Jacobs worked around it. Can he do it here? The 0-1, swing and a miss, and now he's got Dylan Carter in an 0-2 hole. He rung up Dylan Carter back in the first, a strikeout looking to begin the bottom frame of the first inning. And now in a no-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs and 2 aboard here in the bottom of the second. No score. but Brewster threatening for the second consecutive inning with runners aboard. The 0-2 misses outside, and now a ball and 2 strikes. Zach Jacobs consistently getting hitters with 2 strikes, but trying to put him away. He had 2 strikes on Mac Bingham, but then he drew the walk on the full count pitch. Jacobs comes set, and the 1-2 pitch. Misses low, Huff goes down to block it, and from 0-2 to 2-2, the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the second, with runners on first and second. A lot of 2s in effect right now, with number 29, Dylan Carter, at the plate. Facing off against the right-hander from UC Riverside, Zach Jacobs. The righty comes set and delivers the 2-2, and he got him. Carter goes down for the second time, this time swinging, and again, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 left on. No score after 2 complete innings here from Stony Brook, and we send it to the third on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Back here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Will Connerly, I'm Brad Klein. Top of the third inning, no score between the Red Sox and the Whitecaps from Stony Brook Field in a misty Brewster, Massachusetts. And a first pitch fastball delivered by Pete Hansen low and away for ball 1 to Zach Liu. Liu, the right-handed hitter from Cal State Fullerton. The lefty Hansen deals. Liu pops it up, foul ground, out of play.
And I'm glad you mentioned the geographic location. I saw a few people comment on YouTube where they're watching from, and if you are, drop down a comment. We know that players here on the Cape, they come from all across the nation, and so let us know where you're watching from.
We like to be interactive on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Absolutely.
A ball, 1 strike to Zach Liu. And he skies it foul down the right field line, out of play. So Liu hitting a .143 on the season. Doesn't have a single extra base hit to his name. But a $143, he'll take that after his 0 for 14 start. Has since turned it around. And the 1-2. Fastball is bounced, and a nice scoop by Biddison behind the plate to keep it in front of him, and more importantly, to salvage the baseball.
Yeah, Lou, you talk about the slow start, the adjustments he makes to come here to the Cape, and excited to see how he can progress through the second half of this season.
Ground ball slowly hit over to short. Faltini pumps his mitt and lofts it over across the diamond to first in time. 1 away.
Really good play by Faltini, how quickly he got rid of that, gloved it from shortstop and got rid of it really quickly. A nice play made right there at the shortstop position. He's a really athletic player, Faltini is, and he showcased that. And as soon as he's come to Brewster over the past week, he's been a mainstay in the lineup because of his great athleticism at shortstop.
So now it's Briley Knight's turn. 1 for 3 yesterday with a bunt single, which was absolutely spot on. Checked his swing at the breaking ball, didn't go. 1 ball, no strikes to the left-handed hitting center fielder. With 1 away, no one on, and no score in the top of the 3rd inning. Briley Knight avoids the fastball inside, kind of shimmied to the precipice of that left-handed batter's box just to get out of the way and sell the fastball inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Pete Hansen, the lefty from Texas, kicks and deals, and the changeup misses way outside, 3-0. So he's been working pretty efficiently. No free passes so far, 2 strikeouts. And has really been forcing weak contact on the ground. Fastball misses inside, a 4-pitch walk to Briley Knight with 1 out in the top of the 3rd inning.
Briley Knight, the first base runner aboard for the YD Red Sox. And you mentioned that weak contact, something you definitely don't want now with double play potentially in factor. However, Williams does run extremely well at the bottom of the order for YD.
5 of the 7 outs that Hansen has recorded so far have come on the ground. Tyler Williams has 2 hits on the season. And from Arkansas Little Rock, the right-handed hitter takes the breaking ball for strike 1.
Yeah,
1 away and a runner on first base.
Average low right now for Williams, hit 288 over at Little Rock, but the average not the same out here. But that's a big theme across the league.
Ground ball nubbed to the right side and slicing foul. Just past the bag. Jake Thompson, the first baseman, was just trying to see if the English would spin it back into fair territory because it was about 6 inches foul before it crossed the first base marker, the invisible line, if you will, and was officially foul. No balls and 2 strikes to the 095 Tyler Williams. Infield at double play depth. And the third baseman, Alex Freeland, playing a step or 2 in, even with 2 strikes. Briley Knight dancing off first base, not going, and Williams fouls off the fastball. He was on it.
Yeah, Williams looking for contact here. And an 0-2 hole, has 8 strikeouts on the season compared to no walks. And really want to put something in play here to get runners in motion. Briley Knight has speed at first, and Williams has speed in the box.
Williams' last hit was on June 26th at Red Wilson Field against Orleans. And Briley Knight dives back to first safely on the throw over from the lefty Hansen. Still no balls and 2 strikes to Williams, who, as you mentioned, has 8 strikeouts and has only recorded 21 at-bats. 2 for 21 on the year. The 0-2 to Williams. Breaking ball, he waved and went around. Strike 3. The 9th strikeout of the season for Tyler Williams, the 3rd of the day for Hansen. 2 away in the top of the 3rd inning, no score, and a runner on first for Wyatt Hoffman.
Of the Pacific, number 3, Wyatt Hoffman.
Hoffman grounded out to short his last time up. A right-handed hitter from the University of the Pacific, hitting just under 283 on the season. Breaking ball missed way high for ball 1.
And Hansen has been effective this game, working through the order, and YD was really aggressive the first time through. Now second time around. I wonder if they're going to have that same aggression or if they're going to change their approach against the lefty.
Riley Knight dives back to first safely. It looked like the throw might have beaten him, but the throw was in the dirt. So Knight is safe. I said 283, I meant 314. My apologies. Don't want to shortchange Wyatt Hoffman there. He's been an elite CCBL hitter. Despite his collegiate stats not really matching what he's done in summer ball.
Yeah, he's hit the ball really well. That 9-game hit streak was so impressive. How he really took over the offensive jolt of the team. An incredible story for him to perform at such a high level.
But the other thing about Wyatt Hoffman is that it almost seems false as he lines it into left field. It falls for a base hit, straddling the left field line. Riley Knight accelerates to third. He'll be safe there. It's a 2-out double for Wyatt Hoffman. Runners on second and third. 2 outs for Tanner Smith.
And there you go, Wyatt Hoffman. He continues to prove people wrong, and the belief in himself so strong, and he knows the success that he can have. And he a career hitter in 300 at-bats at the collegiate level, just about 230. But right now on Cabe, hitting above 300. Really impressive double right there for Wyatt Hoffman.
But what I was saying was it almost seems false to say, here comes Wyatt Hoffman from the University of the Pacific, because even though he's from there, he's a completely different hitter than he was and is in the collegiate ranks. Always says, hey, that 240 batting average lifetime of the NCAA level, that's not me anymore. Tanner Smith, the Oregon product, takes the fastball high by the brow for ball one. The left-handed hitter with the neon green batting gloves in a big position here. Went 0 for 4 yesterday, coming off the heels of a 2-home run, 4 RBI day at Red Wilson Field. The 1-0 to Smith. Taken low for ball 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, though. You can recreate yourself and transform yourself into a new player when you get to have the consistent reps every day like a Wyatt Hoffman has.
Tanner Smith has 10 RBIs on the season. That leads the team. Only recently overtook Brooks Lee for that mark. The 2-0. Breaking ball slices the outside corner. 2-1 the count with 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. It's Wyatt Hoffman on second and Riley Knight on third. Knight walked and was brought to third after the double by Hoffman a minute ago.
It'd be really nice to see Smith come through here.
Hansen takes a deep breath, kicks and deals. Fastball misses just outside. Ball 3. A lot of oohs and ahs from the Brewster faithful there. They didn't think so.
Yeah, Smith with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. He has come through for YD multiple times over the past week, and another big spot here for him, for YD to take the lead after their offense has struggled so mightily the last 4 games.
The 3-1 tonight. Breaking ball misses high and tight. Ball 4. So 2 walks in this frame alone for Hansen. Sandwiched by a double. Loads the bases for Cody Huff with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning.
Yeah, now if you're Hansen, you've got to deal with Cody Huff. You're a good shot on the lefty-lefty matchup against Tanner Smith. And now you've got to deal with YD's 3rd-place hitter with the bases loaded. This is a golden opportunity right here with 2 outs for the Red Sox to try to take the lead.
Brewster has 5 of the Cape League's 11 shutouts this year. It's in danger. Cody Huff grounds it over to short. Faltini on the run. Backhand throw across the diamond. Not in time. The throw pushed Jake Thompson, the first baseman, off the bag. Riley Knight comes around to score. It's an infield RBI single for Cody Huff, and YD leads 1-0 in the top of the 3rd.
A similar play to what happened with Pascal Ferreira's last half frame when you saw that the first baseman, in this instance, Jake Thompson, off the bag, but also credit to Cody Huff, given the hard run down the first base line, and the ball was hit not that hard, so Faltini had to shift over to his right, which gave Huff more time to get to first, and YD will gladly take a 1-0 lead.
Now it's runners on first and second, or rather bases loaded, not for long. Wyatt Hoffman comes around to score on the pass ball. A fastball that was spiked and Nick Binnison couldn't corral it. All the runners advance. It's now 2-0 in favor of the Red Sox in the top of the third inning. So Cody Huff to second, Tanner Smith to third, Hoffman to score the second run, and Peyton Graham, the hungry right-handed hitter from Oklahoma, with a chance to really put a big mark on this game early. Hansen just trying to limit the damage. The 1-0. Fastball misses outside for ball 2. You have to wonder, with the way Graham has been swinging the bat, and at the rate that he's been striking out, if Pickler would even give him the green light on 2 balls and no strikes.
Folks, in this break in the action, we'd like to remind you to check
And
out
a
our
mound visit here for Hansen. Brewster's
prizes to
action
win
in the
at
bullpen
this
is
game
limited,
tonight, including 5
if not non-existent.
$20 gift cards.
They want to get
This
some,
inning belongs to Hansen.
And Hansen didn't go super long, didn't have a ton of success in his first start. They know the track record. He was incredible at Texas for him. As a starter, can go deep into games, but in a sticky situation here, the command kind of abandoned him. First 2 frames, 6 up, 6 down, 2 strikeouts, and then he also had 4 groundouts mowed through the order. But here in this inning, he's surrendered 2 walks and 2 hits, one of them being an infield single, and then the big double by Wyatt Hoffman, who came around to score on the ball that got away from Biddison.
Smith on third, Huff on second. Peyton Graham grounds it slowly over to third. Freeland gathers and rifles across the diamond in time. Side retired. 2 runs on 2 hits. A Wyatt Hoffman double and a Cody Huff RBI infield single. And the Red Sox lead 2-0 in the middle of the third, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
From Vanderbilt, number 50.
Fee-fi-fo-fum, enter the 6'7" mammoth of a man, Spencer Jones, the left-handed hitter from Vanderbilt, to start off the bottom of the third, nearly decapitates Zach Jacobs. A line drive up the middle into center field and a base hit, but Zach Jacobs really had to grimace and scurry away in a hurry from the exit velo hurrah of a line drive.
Now battling, the second baseman.
So a quick single for Spencer Jones into center field, the first hit of the day for Brewster. And Zach Neto at the dish with no one out. Was hit by a pitch, a fastball in the first inning. And Neto, the right-handed hitter, facing Jacobs, the 4th batter, or rather base runner he's allowed. Now Zach Lou at third at the hot corner. Backhanded play on the hot ground ball. He rifles across the diamond in time for the first out. What a play by Lou. He continues to impress defensively and shining when YD needs him the most. One away with a runner on second, and as Jones advances, Lou had no time to even consider second base. And Jake Thompson at the plate. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. That came on a curveball, though. Thompson, the junior from Oklahoma State, left-handed hitter, and watches the curveball. That one misses outside for ball one. 6 foot 210, but as we mentioned before, Will and I both agreed 6 foot 210 seems like an underestimation on Jake Thompson. There's no underestimating his stat line, though. 342 in 45 games in 2021. Nice frame by Cody Huff on the changeup that looked like it might have missed low. According to Huff's moving glove, it did not count even at 1-1, as Thompson observes. So Jones, with a lot of speed on second base, call it the long stride if you want. With one out, the 1-1 is taken just high and tight for ball two. Thompson redshirted at Kentucky last season after spending 2018 at Palomar Community College. Palomar, excuse me, and that was actually in 2020 he redshirted. Ground ball hit to the right side and fell. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. But Oklahoma State is his 4th school. He's a journeyman. Kentucky, Palomar Community College, and South Dakota State is where he started. Oklahoma State seems to be his home, though. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the lefty. With a runner on second base, Spencer Jones. And the breaking ball chopped to the right side. Wyatt Hoffman, the second baseman, on the run, scoops it and throws it over to first for the second out as Jones advances to third. So 2 away and a runner on third base for Alex Freeland, who popped out to Pascanel Ferreras at short his last time up. And that was a very impressive at-bat for Jacobs, mainly because in that at-bat against Freeland, it looked like there might have been a call that Jason Klump, the home plate umpire, didn't award him. A narrow ball call that looked like it could have been a strike. But Jacobs showed the mental toughness to keep his head in the count and force weak contact. With 2 outs, Freeland takes the breaking ball just low and inside for ball 1. That's actually a very interesting pitch, that spike curve that Jacobs likes to brandish, and it's an especially easy pitch for Cody Huff to frame because he can kind of bounce with the curve and the arc of the pitch, and he did that there, but Klump didn't fall for it. Another curveball, no frame needed, right down Broadway. Count even at 1-1 with 2 outs and a runner on third base. YD 2, Brewster nothing in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jones is the lone hit for the Whitecaps. After his single to start off this inning, 2 ground balls got him to third base, and a big swing and a foul back to the screen for Alex Freeland, the third baseman.
Yeah, Jacobs had to work around free passes, 2 hit by pitches in the first, and then a walk and an error in the second. And again, trying to strand another base runner here in the 3rd.
Freeland from UCF hit .288 this past year. The 1-2 is clocked down the right field line. It is in fair territory. Drew Bowser, the first baseman, couldn't get a glove on it. He's turboing over to second. There will be no throw. It's a 2-out RBI double for Alex Freeland as Spencer Jones comes around to score no problem. And Brewster cuts the deficit in half. It's now 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Now batting, the designated hitter from Washington. Number 27.
Well, Bowser, the right-handed throwing first baseman, has the glove on his left side, and that's what he needed because that was a rope down the first base line, and even with the glove side, he could not knock it down.
A tough play right there, right on the line. Bowser not able to get there, and the ball just fair for a double.
So it's Freeland on second. Simpson at the plate takes the fastball high and tight for ball 1. Will Simpson struck out his last time up. Zach Jacobs has 3 strikeouts to his name, none in this inning. Doesn't need one now, but he'd take it. 1 ball, no strikes to the right-handed hitter Simpson. Jacobs deals a fastball right by the swinging Simpson, count even at 1-1.
That's a healthy hack right there from Simpson.
The freshman from Washington at 6'4" hit .310 in 2021 after hitting just .174 in 2020. Had 35 RBIs in 45 games for the Huskies. Checked his swing on the breaking ball, did not offer, and that's ball 2.
Yeah, he was a draft pick as well in the 2019 MLB draft in the 18th round by the Pirates. Had 7 home runs as well this past season. And the big second-year freshman has some good power and good size.
And Simpson grounds it up the middle. Hoffman by second base, kicks it around. Wyatt Hoffman had to go to his right, and he throws over to third base. And easily safe is Alex Freeland. But Wyatt Hoffman had to go to his right. Looked like he was off balance coming from that second base hole.
Yeah,
and it was going to be a tough play to cross himself up, gather, and then throw on the run towards his right side to the left to first base. And he got ahead of himself, kicked it around. Runners on the corners now on the error by Wyatt Hoffman.
No hit, it looks
like.
They
rule it a hit, so Wyatt Hoffman is bailed out. The third hit of the day for Brewster. Back-to-back hits for Alex Freeland and Will Simpson put runners on the corners with 2 outs for Trey Faltini.
And you've seen Hoffman make more difficult plays than that. So a play that he says he probably should have made. Bobbled it. Tough, difficult. Degree of difficulty was high on the ground ball. But he's made higher plays, better plays there, but ruled a hit for Brewster.
Scott Pickler thinks that Wyatt Hoffman might be the best glove that YD has to offer. The 1-0. Fastball popped up, shallow center field. Briley Knight coming on from center. Wyatt Hoffman calls him off, and he makes the catch, signed retired. But Brewster tacks on a run and cuts the deficit in half. It's now 2-1 for the Red Sox, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Pascal Ferraris here in the top of the 4th inning to lead off for YD with a 2-1 lead over the Whitecaps. And the right-handed hitting Ferraris takes the breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 1. Ferreira struck out swinging his last time up in the second inning to Pete Hansen. That seemed like a different version of the lefty Hansen, though. He was cruising through 2 innings with 6 consecutive outs. He got a ground out to start off the third, and then that's where it started to go south. A walk, another strikeout, and then from there, a double, a walk, and an RBI single, granted an infield RBI single by Cody Huff. That allowed YD to score 2 runs.
That'll play.
That'll play. A ball and 1 strike to Pascal Ferreras as the fastball is spiked and a new ball is given to the lefty Hansen. The mist has pretty much come to a halt, but that doesn't mean that the field is in prime playing condition. That infield dirt is still pretty dark, and so you know that there's a lot of moisture on there.
Yeah, you got to knock on wood after you say that it's come to an end, because you never know. It could creep back in if you get too complacent there.
Now the laptop is exposed, so if there's anyone knocking on wood, it's me. 3 balls and 1 strike to Ferreras, who's been bitten by the strikeout bug this year. So different scenario for him to be in a 3-1 count. Fastball, checked his swing, back to the Brewster dugout. Count is full now.
Yeah, it's got to have good confidence on 3-1, and he struggled last inning to have command to throw a breaking ball in that situation. Frears was not expecting that, was cheating to a fastball and was way ahead of it for the foul ball.
Pascal Ferreras has 20 strikeouts on the season. Pete Hansen working from the windup. The payoff pitch, swung on in line, foul down the right field line, out of play.
Now, I mean, being a tough hitter with 2 strikes it's so crucial. Some hitters will choke up, widen their stance, think opposite field, and that's what Ferreras is trying to do here.
Payoff pitch taken high, ball 4. Pascal Ferreras draws the leadoff walk. That's just his 2nd walk of the season. And a runner aboard with no one out for Drew Bowser.
And then good job. He earned that free pass in that situation. He rifled a foul ball to the right side, and Hansen realized, okay, he's on my fastball. He can catch up to it. He's thinking other way. I'm going to try to climb the ladder. He climbed it, but it was a little too high, and he draws the free pass.
So here's Drew Bowser with no one out and a runner on first. The right-handed hitter from Stanford watches the throw over to first as Pascal Ferreras scurries back safely. Well, Bowser, here's the good news. Got a single yesterday, his first hit of the season, and some really hard contact his last time up on a comebacker to Pete Hansen, the pitcher. The bad news is he has nothing to show for it. 0 for 1 on the day. The breaking ball is taken for strike 1.
And Hansen, he went 6 up, 6 down in the first 2 frames, but had 2 walks in the third when YD scored 2 runs, and has a walk here to begin the 4th. He only had 23 walks all of last season, but having over 80 strikeouts at Texas with a great ERA.
Bowser watches the breaking ball inside and low, count even at 1-1. Bowser hit .302 in 2021 with Stanford. That's why it was such a head-scratcher when he started 0 for 16 with the Sox. And Bowser lays off the fastball, misses just low. Biddison tried to pop up with a frame, but he could not steal the strike. 2 balls and a strike.
And he's going to have an opportunity to consistently be in the lineup and figure out his swing. He does have a really good swing, and it just hasn't come to fruition yet.
Fastball misses high, so for the 2nd consecutive time in the top of the 4th inning, Pete Hansen is behind a YD hitter, 3 balls, 1 strike. Zach Liu waiting on deck. Infield at double play depth. Drew Bowser, another player who's been bitten by the strikeout bug. Struck out 9 times in his first 18 at-bats. Fastball misses inside, ball 4. Back-to-back walks by Ferreras and Bowser to start off the top of the 4th inning. And still no one out for Zach Liu.
Now batting the third baseman.
That's
from
now
Cal
4
State
walks
Fullerton,
on the day
number
for
8,
Hansen.
Zach Liu.
Yeah, and after the free passes here, the 4 walks just coming in the last 2 innings. He's got 4 walks while he's recorded 3 outs over the last 2 frames.
Breaking ball, and Lou observes for strike 1. Well, for reference, Hansen, in 3 innings pitched going into this game, with just 1 appearance, only recorded 2 walks. So not exactly a large sample size, but now he has 6. No balls and a strike to Zach Lou.
And he was pretty effective in having good command, and 14 starts, had 23 walks at Texas, but had the good strikeout ratio to go with it.
Lou shows bunt, pulls back at the last minute. The breaking ball taken for a strike, and Pascal Ferreras dives back to second safely as Biddison wanted to check him back from home to second.
Yeah, Ferreras got caught a little too far off second base, but glad he could get back in time and diving in. So now the white jersey turns a different color in the mud for Ferreras, but back safely, the most important thing for Pascal.
Break out the Tide stick. No balls, 2 strikes with no one out. Ferreras on second, Bowser on first. Plenty of speed on the pond for Zach Lou. The 0-2. Swung on and popped foul down the right field line. It goes. So Zach Lou, since his 3 for 5 day against Chatham on July the 6th, is 0 for his last 7, including the ground out in the 2nd inning. Chance to redeem himself and completely turn that around here as YD leads 2-1 in the top of the 4th inning, and Pete Hansen is trying to tread water. The lefty deals, and Lou fouls it off the mid of Biddison, so we'll do it again.
And in this situation for Lou, you've got runners on first and second, nobody out. You don't have to get a hit to have a productive at-bat here. Do something to get these runners over. That's why he was trying to bunt earlier on, but you also got to avoid that double play with Bowser at first.
Connor Stain, the righty from Maryland College, is getting warm in the Brewster bullpen. Still no balls and 2 strikes to Lou. The pitch is popped foul, out of play again. Zach Lou staying alive. The strikeouts, and I'm sounding like a broken record here, but Bowser, Ferreras, and Lou, the first 3 hitters in the top of the 4th inning for YD, have probably been 3 of the most strikeout-prone hitters that the Red Sox have to offer, with the exception of maybe Chase Luttrell. But Lou has 13 strikeouts and has only recorded 28 at-bats.
Yeah, YD overall, with talking about all these players, they're toward the top of the league in strikeouts.
Lou shows bunt on 2 strikes, pulls back at the last minute. The fastball elevated for ball 1. Don't know if he ever actually intended to lay one down, maybe thinking that Hansen was going to waste a pitch on 0-2.
Who knows, though? He did a good job to pull back because of the fact that you got 2 strikes, so it's not like he had a pitch to burn either.
And Lou pops it over our heads, out of play.
But yeah, it's a question mark sometimes when you see guys try to drop it down with 2 strikes. And in that situation, what if Hansen were to put it in the zone? He would have had to try to slash at something. So it was kind of interesting to see him do that. He hadn't been doing that pitches before.
The Red Sox lead 2-1, top of the 4th inning. Lou takes the fastball that skipped about 6 inches in front of home plate for a ball 2.
And now it comes to a situation where Lewis had a successful at-bat. He's making Hansen work. He had 2 walks last inning, beginning this frame with 2 walks, making this lefty work, and Brewster getting the bullpen going. And this is an opportunity here in this frame to put a crooked number on the starting pitcher.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Ferreras on second, Bowser on first, no one out, top of the 4th inning. And Lou grounds it over to short. Faltini charging in, gloves it, on to second for 1. No relay throw. And a 6-4 fielder's choice puts runners on the corners with 1 out for Briley Knight.
And that'll play. You move a runner up 90 feet, and now you've got a runner on third, less than 2 outs, a time to get a sacrifice fly, get a runner in there any way you can in that situation. Yeah, you trade it out, you get 1 runner off the base paths, but much better in that situation than if Lou were to strike out, and he was 0-2 in the count, 2 foul balls, and then drew it to a 2-2 count and was able to put the ball in play. So a solid at-bat for Lou in that situation. Now it's up to Briley Knight to execute.
We'll see if they go small ball here. He's been known to bunt, laid down a bunt single in the last game. Now bunting here, a ball in the dirt. The fastball was blocked by Biddison, not too well though, as Zach Liu advances to second base without even a thought of a throw. Because Nick Biddison just thinking about keeping Ferreras at third. So now, all of a sudden, it's runners on second and third with only one out for Briley Knight.
Yeah, that's huge because now the double play no longer a factor. And so Briley Knight can, as the infield comes in.
The infield is in as YD leads 2-1 in the top of the fourth inning. The bunt is probably off if it was ever on for Knight now. And Hansen working from the windup, a late call for time from the home plate umpire Jason Klump. He was mid-leg kick by the time he was asked to stop. Now he goes through the motion. The 1-0 is swung on and driven to deep right field. Spencer Jones chasing back on the track. He's under it to make the catch, and Ferreras tags up from third as the third run of the day for YD. The throw gets away from the relay man Neto, and on to score on the slide is Zach Liu. A two-run sac fly for Briley Knight. Heads up base running by Liu, and the Red Sox lead 4-1.
What a play right there. Briley Knight to do a job. You got a runner on third, less than 2 outs. What do? Put a ball into the outfield. Briley Knight got the pitch he wanted, put it deep enough in the outfield to let Pascal Ferreras score. And I don't know, does he get 2 runs driven in that situation? I don't think so.
We'll
he gets
have
one
to wait
for
the official
fly.
ruling because it might be a throw
on the air.
error.
It'll be sac fly in the air.
So here's Tyler Williams.
But they did not put an error on the scoreboard.
Right-handed hitter chopping the first pitch fastball foul to the left side. Now all of a sudden, the Red Sox lead 4-1. And Briley Knight, Zach Liu, Pascal Ferreras putting the Red Sox in a position to succeed based on what seemed like a limited opportunity. Another chopper foul to the left side. If you have runners on the corners and then with 1 out, you're not expecting that at-bat to result in what went down. And it started with Liu's heads-up base running. Biddison couldn't block the fastball, couldn't smother it in the dirt. And that put runners on second and third as Williams doesn't quite offer on the breaking ball in the dirt. 1-2 the count with 2 outs and no one on. So heads-up base running put Liu on second base and runners on second and third with Ferreras on third, and then Briley Knight hitting one deep enough into right field. Ferreras tagging up by the book, and Liu with heads-up base running once again to realize that Neto couldn't corral the relay throw.
Great base running by Zach Liu.
And Tyler Williams goes down swinging for the second time today. The strikeout bug continuing to gnaw at the forearm of Tyler Williams. And in the middle of the fourth inning, it's 4-1 in favor of the Red Sox, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Leading off.
Bottom of the fourth inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Alongside Will Connerly, I'm Brad Cullen with a front row seat for the Red Sox 4-1 lead And Zach Jacobs is cruising right now. Not only is he pitching probably better than he has all season, but he's been gifted that 3-run cushion. In the first pitch, curveball taken outside by Biddison. A fastball misses high for ball 2.
The front row seat has been nice to see YD having some success today after they are right now in the last 4 games in their worst stretch of the season.
Foul ball to the left side, 2 balls in the strike. Oh, you're right. They have had their worst stretch of the season, especially offensively.
With 3 losses in the last 4 games, and a big reason coming because of the offense.
Line drive down the left field line, slicing foul. On 2-1, Nick Biddison put a hurt on that baseball, but was in front of it. So now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and luckily that one sliced foul, or it would have been extra bases. He did square it up, but was too early, pulled it foul, but had a ton of tail. Initially was fair, and then tailed foul.
The 2-2 from Jacobs, breaking ball low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ball 4 delivered. A leadoff walk for Nick Biddison. Jacobs just could not find his spot. And that's the second consecutive leadoff base runner allowed by Jacobs.
Number 6, Mac Bingham.
In the 4th free pass, 2 walks and 2 hit by pitches from the right-hander Jacobs. And we saw last inning when YD was at the plate. Back-to-back walks to begin the frame. Both runs came around to score as YD did a great job of manufacturing those runs. But now Jacobs trying to work around it.
So that's the 4th walk. Mac Bingham, or rather Bingham, represented the 3rd walk. Takes the first pitch fastball for strike 1. No outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. YD by 3 here on draft day. The draft is over, but plenty of Cape Cod baseball players drafted today, and some from these teams right in front of us. Sean Gusenberg, the shortstop, middle infielder, I guess you can call him, from Northwestern. Player for Brewster, he's gone.
Yeah.
Andrew Marrero for YD intends to sign his 18th round deal with the Cardinals.
Yes.
As a reliever. An elite reliever, too, back end guy that YD's going to have to figure out a way to replace.
Yeah,
that's
a
a
good
big
point.
void. No balls and 2 strikes now to Bingham.
It was really cool to see Marrero get picked, and he said when we talked to him, he's like, I still can't believe it. He was just shocked, and just a surreal feeling for him and his family. A very cool moment.
Well, it's an especially big deal for Andrew Marrero, right? It's already an accomplishment to be picked, but Marrero coming from New Haven, not the best area, to play for UConn, borderline unprecedented from where he's from, and to then master his craft at UConn to the point where major league teams recognize that and need him. It's a big deal. Line drive into right field on a wacky carom on the bumpy dirt. It's fielded by Tyler Williams, and from first to third goes Nick Biddison. It's a no-out single, putting runners on the corners for Bingham, and Brewster down by 3 is cooking.
We have a pinch hitter at the plate. Now batting for the Whitecaps.
So no outs, runners on the corners. Porter Brown from TCU, the left-handed hitter, coming in to replace Dylan Carter, the center fielder, who was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. But that's the leadoff man, so now it's up to Porter Brown to fill a big void in the lineup.
He struggled yesterday against YD, and the strikeout bug, as you call it, that's definitely bit him pretty hard this year, and it did yesterday when he had 3 of them. And that's what Zach Jacobs is especially looking for here.
He was 0 for 3 with a walk, and Jacobs checking back the runner at first base, but Bingham dives back safely. So now Porter Brown from TCU hit above 300 for the Horned Frogs. That has not been the case this year. Hitting under 100 for the Whitecaps. 2 throws over by Zach Jacobs. We were talking to Tom Vasella before the game, and he said that Jacobs should be classified as a starter today, not an opener. And the righty delivers a fastball high for ball one as Jacob Metter is starting to get warm for the Red Sox behind Jacobs. Metter, another TCU product, as Porter Brown, the left-handed hitting Horned Frog, at the dish with no one out and runners on the corners. Runner goes for a second. Brown chops it to the right side. Could be a tough play. Bowser comes off the bag and flips it to first. Jacobs is covering, and a run comes home to score. Nick Biddison crosses home plate for the second run of the day for the Whitecaps. It's now 4-2 for the Red Sox.
And Jacobs, glad he got over to make that play. Had to bust it over, but he told Mr. Brad Klein before the season started, I'm the most athletic pitcher you'll ever see. And so he has to make those plays now and live up to that. Just great praise and humility that he has to say that. It's just impressive.
He says he lives for balls in play. That's pretty rare because, A lot of pitchers aren't very good at fielding their position. And a lot of more pitchers are just looking for no contact at all. A very glacially slow breaking ball was fouled off by the lefty Spencer Jones. Off my IDAR, as you like to say. I'm guessing that one was high 60s. And he does not throw that spike curve very fast, but that one looked especially slow.
Yeah, he took a few MPH off of that one a little bit. Try to get Jones out in front, who almost took Jacobs' head off last time he was at the plate. So
with a single into center field, he's 1 for 2, and 1 ball, 1 strike now to the Vandy product on the fastball that tails outside. It's a runner on second base. That's Mac Bingham, the left fielder, who singled to get on base and advanced to second on the fielder's choice by Porter Brown. With 1 out in the bottom of the 4th, the Red Sox lead by 2. Fastball misses just low and outside. 2 balls and a strike. Spencer Jones swings through the fastball for strike 2. Caught by Cody Huff, who knows a thing or two about Jones. Jones scored the game-winning run against Stanford on a wild pitch on June 23rd in the College World Series. And Cody Huff, as a catcher, had a front-row seat for that heartbreaker. As Jones goes down swinging for out number 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I get prior relationships, prior friendships through these players who play in similar conferences or, like you mentioned, at the collegiate level. And speaking of Cody Huff, I know he was mutual friends and knew Pete Hansen prior before this, the starting pitcher for Brewster as well, who was also a team that made it far in the playoffs in Texas for Hansen.
In comes Zach Neto with 2 outs and a runner on second base. Down by 2 are the Whitecaps. Right-handed hitter chops it foul to the left side. Well, I guess you can call Neto a journeyman at this point. From Campbell University, 2-way player who's focusing on hitting this summer. He was released by the Cotuit Kettleers before their first game was even played. So what did he do? He packed up his stuff and went to go play in the NECBL for all but 1 game he played. The Big South Player of the Year checks his swing, didn't matter. The changeup is in the zone for strike 2. The Big South Player of the Year played 1 game in the NECBL and then got a call from Brewster saying, hey, come back to the Cape.
Did a nice job by Jamie Shevchek and company to get Neto, who's actually played really well this season, hitting about 300 with a couple home runs.
Breaking ball just off the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Neto brandishing the eye. Zach Neto is 0 for 2, or rather 0 for 1 on the day. Hit by pitch in the first and a ground out in the third. The runner on second base is Mac Bingham. And the 1-2 is swung on and lined hard over to Lou. The third baseman scoops it up on a quick hop and on to first in time. Side retired. Well, Zach Liu with a great in-betweener play. Looked like he was trying originally to catch it in the air, but decided he wasn't going to make it. Played it on a quick hop, channeled his inner first base, and made a great throw across the diamond. And Zach Jacobs will take the 5-3 putout to retire the side. At the end of 4, it's 4-2 for the Red Sox, right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Top of the 5th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. The Sox lead the Caps 4-2. And Wyatt Hoffman, the right-handed hitter, will start off the frame against a new arm for Brewster. Hoffman swings and misses at the fastball. Connor Stain from Maryland in College Park with a 4.5 ERA. A right-handed thrower with 4 appearances on the season, 8 innings under his belt. Foul ball back to the screen on the elevated fastball that Hoffman could not resist.
And it's his first time pitching against YD this season as well as 4 previous appearances, 3 of which came at home against Chatham, Catuit, Chatham, and Falmouth.
Well, Stain is a career 5.6 ERA guy at Maryland, but had a poor season for the Terps this past year, a 6.49 ERA. Ball 1 taken outside and high by Hoffman. And the righty from the windup deals. Ground ball sharply hit over to Freeland. He backhands it and rainbows across the diamond for out number 1.
Yeah, and Stain so far this season, 6'4". His frame is good. He's projectable because of his big size and good stuff. And he had 3 scoreless outings, and he was pitching the ball pretty effectively. Threw 5 scoreless to begin his outing, but last time he kind of got roughed up.
Tanner Smith fouls back the first pitch fastball.
His most recent outing came on the 6th, and Falmouth kind of had his number. Other than that, though, he's been pretty effective so far this season.
It was 3 runs, or rather 7 runs in 3 innings, 4 earned, 8 hits, and 5 strikeouts. No walks if you're looking for a silver lining, but Stain was in trouble throughout. Sustained trouble, if you will.
Good one.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. That was a long pause. Tanner Smith chases the low changeup, and after the ball he took prior, it's now 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out and no one on. Tanner Smith, left-handed hitting Oregon product, watches the fastball got way out of hand by Stain and stood up Biddison, the catcher. Smith is 0 for his last 5. Was 0 for 4 yesterday, and now 0 for 1 today with a ground out in the first and a walk in the third. Was stranded on third base in that 2-run inning. And chases the high fastball, pops it up a mile high, shallow left field. Porter Brown saunters under it to make the catch for the second out.
And you talk about Stain's season at Maryland as he gets 2 outs out of the bullpen, and Brewster putting together a performance where they've limited YD on the day to just 2 hits, but they lead 4-2. He had some success, made 9 appearances, and had 6 starts. And he threw 34 2/3 innings, which was 5th on the team.
And with 2 outs, Cody Huff watches the changeup nick the inside corner. Well, Stain, Jersey boy from Clinton, New Jersey, gets Cody Huff to ground it foul to the right side, so a quick 0-2 hole for the Stanford catcher. It's been quick work for Stain, who got 2 quick outs, a ground out and a fly out. And Cody Huff lays off the fastball above the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Huff with an infield RBI single in the 3rd inning is 1 for 2 on the day. And the 1-2 to Huff. Breaking ball, he just caught up with it and fouled it back to the screen, so we'll do it again. Coming up on the 14th pitch of Stain's day. And if Huff can keep the line moving, it would be Peyton Graham. As YD leads 4-2, top of the 5th inning. Huff chops it foul over to the Brewster dugout. It's been a busy day for the Cape Cod League, mainly because of the draft. A busy night last night with 2 Cape Leaguers as Home Run Derby champions and finalists. Cody Huff goes down swinging on the elevated fastball for strike 3 and bangs his helmet with his bat in frustration. In the middle of the 5th inning, it's YD 4 and Brewster 2 on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Bottom of the 5th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Will Connerly, Brad Klein. Happy to be with you as Brewster trails YD by 2. Jacob Metter comes on in relief of Zach Jacobs, who started well for YD. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. But Metter from TCU, the righty, with a 5.9 ERA, making his 6th appearance on the season, and 10 2/3 innings pitched under his belt. Actually pitched in the opener against Brewster, a 5-5 tie. 3 innings, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. And 1 ball and no strikes now to Jake Thompson after the fastball skips low in the dirt. Metter's second fastball popped foul. Jacob Metter with a 8 ERA this past season at TCU as a freshman. 5'10", 180 pounds, and the breaking ball misses low and outside for ball 2. And it's hard to say he's on the mound, but definitely looks like one of the shorter pitchers that YD has to offer. Technically, I think, according to the roster, that title belongs to Andrew Marrero, as the fastball is skied foul down the left field line and out of play. There's not that much to the frame of Jacob Metter, but he carries a pretty big punch when he's on.
Yeah, and that title, I mean, being shorter, I mean, there's some pitchers that can still have success despite what their frame size may be.
Breaking ball, a sweeping curve gets Thompson to chase for strike 3 and out number 1.
13 strikeouts and just 3 walks on the season now for Jacob Metter through 11 complete innings of work. Now making his 6th appearance. He's been a workhorse for YD and has a great strikeout to walk ratio now of 13-3. He's doing a pretty good job, Brad, and I mean, he's being used more than anyone else.
And that is the 5th strikeout of the day that Brewster Whitecap hitters have recorded. First pitch fastball delivered outside for ball 1 to the left-handed hitting Alex Freeland, playing third today, doubled to right field in the 3rd inning, but was stranded on third base. 1-0 misses low on the fastball, so 2 balls and no strikes now.
And Metter with his 6th appearance. The only other pitcher to have 6 is Andrew Marrero, but he was drafted earlier today by the St. Louis Cardinals.
And the 2-0 pops up behind home plate and out of play. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to the lefty Freeland. By the way, I'm checking the roster now. Jacob Metter tied for shortest pitcher on the team. The shortest player award, as a short person myself, we'll call it an award, goes to Zach Liu at 5'9". Metter listed at 5'10".
And that's just an incredible honor for those players to hold, isn't it?
Hey, it's an exclusive club with a secret code, a passcode. You're not invited at 6'5".
That's perfectly fine. And
we have a clubhouse, and we order pizza every Friday night. The 3-1 to Freeland misses high and outside for ball 4. So Jacob Metter losing command of the strike zone just 2 batters in. After the quick strikeout on Thompson, it's a 1-out walk for Freeland, and Will Simpson, the DH, settles into the right-handed batter's box.
From Washington, one of the Huskies, number 27, Will Simpson.
Come on, Will!
So Will Simpson is 1 for 2 on the day with a single his last time up, and just turned around on the slider that misses on chin music for ball 1. Utility infielder from Washington at 6'4". Hit .310 this past year for the Huskies in 2021. And time is called after the long hold by Metter. Jason Klump had seen enough. The righty from TCU kicks and deals. Curveball is smacked to left field. Smith is under it, and he makes the catch for the 2nd out. That seemed like Simpson got a hold of it, but hit it off the end of the bat. And Tanner Smith didn't even have to move that much in left field.
From Texas.
And Simpson, he had that single in the third. That broke a 1 for his last 24. And a little bit of a slump, but had a good jolt into the ball there on top of the hit that he had in the third. And you mentioned the high average he had this past season at Washington. He's a really good player.
Here's Trey Faltini with a big, healthy cut at the first pitch fastball for strike one. He's 0 for 2 in this series, dating back to the first game less than 24 hours ago. Faltini reached on an error in the 5th inning and was hit by a pitch in the 7th, grounded out in the 2nd. That was his only at-bat, and today reached on an error in the 2nd inning and popped out in the 3rd.
Yeah, and he's a solid player. He's played a good defensive shortstop as well, a later arrival because of the College World Series.
Faltini fouls it back to the screen. No balls, 2 strikes.
Had 7 stolen bases for Texas this past season. A later arrival because of how good that team was, but he's just really good at shortstop. And since he's come on, he hasn't hit great so far this summer. Just 1 for 13 coming into this game. He's 0 for 2 today, but he plays a really good defense.
Yeah, Faltini in Texas and the Longhorns were eventually knocked out by the champion Mississippi State Bulldogs. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the fastball that misses way outside, and Cody Huff had to reach across his body just to keep it in front of him on the backhanded stop.
But obviously he has good instruction with Troy Tulowitzki over at Texas.
Breaking ball, smack to the left side. Zach Lou, the third baseman, diving. He couldn't keep it from going into left field. From first to third, Alex Freeland turning on the burners. It's a 2-out single for Trey Faltini, and runners on the corners in the bottom of the 5th inning for Brewster.
And Metter trying to work around some trouble. How will Coach Pickler orchestrate the back end of this bullpen to try to pick up a much-needed victory? YD 1 and 3 in their last 4 games, trying to go back to tied at first place with Brewster. They would do that if they could pick up a victory, but it's up to the bullpen to protect this slim 2-run advantage.
So Nick Biddison, the right-handed hitting catcher, with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Now it's time to see if Jacob Metter can work in and out of trouble like Jacobs did. One of the things that Jacobs did very well for YD was strand runners. Stranded 7 runners in 4 innings pitched. And with 2 outs, first pitch fastball is taken for ball 1, and Cody Huff popped up in a hurry, did not throw down to second base, instead a lazy throw back over to Metter. And that's of note because Cody Huff threw down to second base yesterday here at Stony Brook Field, caught the runner, it came at a price. The runner at third base came around to score.
Yeah, and that's probably what he thought at the time. Hey, I could maybe gun this guy out 2 outs, but I'm not risking a run.
So after defensive indifference, it's now runners on second and third, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count as the curveball bends in. 2 outs for Nick Biddison, who's 0 for 1 with a walk in the 4th, ended up scoring in that 4th inning as well. Fastball misses just off the plate. 2 balls and a strike.
Biddison has speed, leads the team with 5, or second on the team with 5 stolen bases by hitting just 118 on the year.
The catcher from Virginia Tech, a sophomore, hit .235 this past year for the Hokies. In 26 games played, splitting time with Cade Hunter for YD. Breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 2. Here's a big pitch.
Wow.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. Jacob Metter from TCU came on to work the 5th. YD up by 2. From the stretch, he kicks and deals. The fastball smacked out of play and fell.
And it's a huge pitch right here. One swing of the bat for Brewster, the game could be tied, but Metter with a pitch, and they could preserve the 2-run lead. So huge opportunity for Metter to get out of the jam and the trouble that he put himself in with the walk and the single.
The 2-2 from Metter. Swung on and fouled back to the screen, so he continues to stay alive here and working the count on Jacob Metter. Metter gets the sign from Huff. Coming up on the 23rd pitch of this frame alone. The 2-2. Breaking ball, popped foul, out of play to the right side again, and Metter gives a little grin as the ball sails out of play, knowing, and that was a good curveball that Biddison fought off. So it's still 2-2. And the pitch from Metter. Swung on, fouled back to the screen. So we're gearing up for the 9th pitch of the at-bat between Jacob Metter and Nick Biddison.
A battle right here. Both players trying to come through for their team.
Faltini on second, Freeland on third. The 2-2 from Metter. Breaking ball, nubbed, foul again.
Metter continuing to grin after he throws some pretty wicked pitches, but being fought off by Biddison left and right. And Biddison, somebody who hitting with 2 strikes hasn't been his forte this year, leads the team with 16 strikeouts. Metter trying to put him away, but he's fighting.
With 2 outs, Metter deals again. Breaking ball, line into left field, a base hit. Freeland comes around to score. Faltini turns on the burners. He's right behind him. It's a 2-run, 2-out RBI single for Nick Biddison, and we're all knotted up at 4 apiece in the bottom of the 5th.
10-pitch at-bat, incredible at-bat by Biddison right there. Fought off some great pitches from Metter and comes through for his team in the 5th to tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. But it was a really, really good at-bat against Metter in that instance.
From Arizona.
So now Jacob Metter steps off the mound and having a quick conversation with his second baseman, Wyatt Hoffman, just to regain his composure after that war of attrition. It's a runner on first with 2 outs, and Brewster might not be done here. Mac Bingham will settle into the right-handed batter's box. Tie game, 4 apiece. Whitey scored 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. Brewster scored 1 in the 3rd and 4th as well, and now putting up a 2 spot in the 5th. 1 ball, no strikes to Bingham on the fastball that misses inside. Mac Bingham 1 for 1 on the day with a single and a walk. And Metter's fastball is fouled over our heads out of play into foul ground. Now we're settled near the catcher's circle. I wouldn't call us behind home plate. We're about 5 feet down the first base line. Maybe even less. Definitely less. We're actually more in line with the third base line. And the 1-1 to Bingham misses high and tight. Bingham hit .305 this past year at Arizona. You mentioned he was crucial for that Wildcats offense. So was Jacob Berry, the could have been, should have been Red Sox had he not gone to defend our freedom for Team USA. And Metter checks back the runner at first base. Nick Biddison is back safely. If Bingham can keep the line moving, it would be Porter Brown, who came in as a pinch hitter in the 4th. But Brewster has already done their damage, 4-4. After the 2 spot and counting in the 5th. Time is called, and Mac Bingham steps out of the box. Played high school ball for Kirk McCaskill former YD star, went on to win 106 games in a 12-year MLB career with the Angels and the White Sox. He even played 1 year in the NHL for Winnipeg.
How about that? And now playing against YD right now, a former star for the Red Sox, and Bingham, someone who was drafted as well out of high school.
In the 2019 draft, the 40th round to the Cubs. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs, a runner on first, tied at 4 apiece. Metter deals, and the fastball cracked down the third base line and a broken bat. Mac Bingham walking back to the Brewster dugout. A lot of people trying to peer pressure him to break the bat. It's cracked. And he was thinking about maybe Bo Jacksoning it over his knee, but decided to just focus on this at-bat.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something he can do after the game. Maybe after a win, a celebratory bat break.
Oh, the Brewster Whitecaps dugout. They were saying, do it, do it. If you could hear that on our crowd microphone, he was holding the lumber.
Hey, peer pressure is a powerful thing. He's got some grins over there saying, you know what, maybe I should have done it. Missed opportunity for Mac Bingham, but another opportunity at the plate right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Tie ball game in the bottom of the 5th, 4 apiece. Metter from the stretch. And it's a foul ball behind home plate. Bingham chose Arizona because the coaches are what got his attention. And he felt like his goal to become a professional baseball player was best destined to come to fruition with the Wildcats. And the 2-2 is skied to deep left center field. Chasing back is Smith. He's waved off by the center fielder Knight for the final out of the inning. But Brewster tacks on 2 runs on 2 hits with 1 left on. At the end of 5, we're knotted up at 4 apiece on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Designated hitter from Oklahoma, number 20.
Top of the 6th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Alongside Will Connerly, I'm Brad Klein near the catcher's circle at Stony Brook Field. Front row seat for a tie ball game, 4 apiece after Brewster's 2 spot in the bottom of the 5th inning. Peyton Graham leading off with a big swing and a miss on a first pitch fastball delivered by Connor Stain, the Maryland Terrapin, who had to wait quite a while for his second inning of work. Came in the 5th inning and was pretty strong on the fastball that missed inside. Only needed 16 pitches to get through the first, second, and third batters for the Red Sox. Count even at 1-1 to Peyton Graham. It took Jacob Metter 34 pitches to get 3 outs for the Red Sox while allowing 2 runs. So Connor Stain stirring in the dugout. Not too cold at Stony Brook Field, and the rain has, knock on wood, stopped. So the conditions in his favor in that sense. And the 1-2 to Graham. Change up, misses outside, count even at 2-2. Peyton Graham, typically the leadoff man, today hitting in the cleanup spot, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And a curveball smacked to left field, but way foul. Peyton Graham was on it, but 2 on it.
Yanked it foul. In that instance, you're right, he was on it. He recognized a breaking pitch, and he does a good job of recognizing a breaking pitch. He has quick hands to get to the ball, but was way out in front of that one.
And the 2-2 to Graham. Fastball is popped foul out of play. So Connor Stain, the Maryland product, working in a bit of a long count with Peyton Graham to start. Struck out 41 batters and walked 14 this past season at Maryland. Went 0-3 as a 20-year-old. And another pop-up, foul ground on the fastball, out of play as Biddison gives it a look.
Reminder for foul balls, please don't jump over the orange line and into play to get fouls, and don't go into the woods behind the third base stand. That's private property, and there's poison ivy back there. Thank you for your cooperation.
Now, strikeouts, though, have been a strength for Stain. And the 2-2 to Graham. Fastball misses by the shins for ball 3. His strikeout to walk ratio was elite this past year in 2021. Probably the reason that even though he had a 6.49 ERA, he's on the Cape. Nearly 3 strikeouts per walk.
Incredible.
This year it's 9, although it's a very limited sample size. But here's a walk for Connor Stain. To lead off the 6th inning, Peyton Graham is aboard. Brings up Pascal Ferreras.
Now batting the shortstop from Western Carolina. Number 5,
And
Pascal.
if we go back in that at-bat for Peyton Graham, he had foul ball, curveball that he was on. 3 other foul balls after that. Leaves a pitch at the shins. It seems like he's seeing the ball a little bit better, drawing the walk and getting going, moving him down in the order, and it was a really good at-bat to draw the walk. Sometimes it's when pitchers don't throw it well, but that's when a hitter earned the free pass there.
The 5th walk of the day drawn by Red Sox hitters. 1 ball, no strikes to Pascal Ferreras, the right-handed hitter from Western Carolina. He was one of those Red Sox who walked. That came in the 4th inning, and he lines it to left field. That drops for a base hit. First and second, no one out for the Red Sox in the top of the 6th.
And it's good to see you mentioned the 5 walks, but there's also only been 5 strikeouts for a team who's striking out over 10 times per game. 5-5, that's what we'll play. And that's when you're taking better at-bats. You're putting the ball in play more. If we go back to the top of the 3rd, the top of the 4th, YD's able to manufacture runs in those instances. And then Pascal Ferreras, good piece of hitting right there to the left side for the 3rd hit of the game for YD. But when you put the ball in play, you limit the strikeouts, you increase the free passes, and you increase your opportunity to get base runners on base. And great opportunity here.
Corner shifting in now for Drew Bowser, who doesn't really bunt that much. Infield stays at double play depth. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Bowser not bunting. The fastball gets away from Biddison, and both runners advance.
Huge right there. He doesn't have to. If bunt was in the question, well, the pitch that misses from Stain, it does the job.
The difference, though, is the corners can stay where they are because the middle infield will pinch in. The entire infield is in for Brewster. Peyton Graham on third base, Pascal Ferreras on second, with no one out for Drew Bowser, who has one hit as a Red Sox came yesterday against Brewster. Connor staying the righty. From the stretch, deep breath, kicks and deals, and Bowser skies it out to right center field. This will bring a run home. Bingham makes the catch, and Peyton Graham tagging up to score. The throw by Bingham is a strike on 2 hops and gets Pascal Ferreras at third.
What a strike right there by Bingham. He knew that he wasn't going to get Graham at home, so he missiled it over to third, and Ferreras out to dry.
There's really no way to know this, but Pascal Ferreras runs very well. And it didn't look like he was really running at full speed. Didn't think that Bingham had a chance to get him. That was a perfect throw.
A good RBI and sac fly for YD.
So after all that, YD takes the lead. It's now 5-4. And a first pitch breaking ball to Zach Liu for strike 1. So Drew Bowser gets a big RBI.
Huge right there. Great at bat by him.
And Liu watches the changeup low. Count even at 1-1. Peyton Graham scores for the Red Sox for the 7th time this season. And the 1-1 to the righty Liu. Big swing and a miss at the fastball.
It's the second sacrifice fly today, and the sacrifice is the little things you have to do to get runs home. YD's executing on those today, and a big reason why they have the lead now.
Liu watches the breaking ball low for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. You mentioned small ball, 2 sac flies. That's been a motif, and including the Ferreras single to left field in this inning, YD has 1 hit in the past 2 2/3 of an inning. But it hasn't really mattered for the Red Sox. They scored 2 runs on no hits in the 4th, and now 1 run and potentially counting in the 6th. Payoff pitch to Liu. Fastball line to center field. Spencer Jones chasing back to make the catch. Over his right shoulder, side retired. In the middle of the 6th, the Red Sox regain the lead. It's now 5-4 on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
There's a good chance you are going home. The left fielder from Texas Christian. Number 4, Porter Brown.
Bottom of the 6th inning on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network, and it's 5-4 in favor of YD. Jacob Metter on for his 2nd inning of relief, and if I sound surprised, it's because I am. I think every Red Sox fan out there might be, as a first pitch fastball is swung on and missed by Porter Brown, the lefty from TCU for strike 1. Well, Metter another Horned Frog, by the way, a TCU matchup here, threw 34 pitches in the first inning and gave up 2 runs. YD has more options in the bullpen, you would think, but maybe that number is slightly limited now that Andrew Marrero is not available, because he was drafted by the Cardinals earlier today in the 18th round. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Porter Brown puts a big jolt into this one to deep center field. Briley Knight is under it to make the catch for the first out.
Nice play by Briley Knight there. Knight doing a good.
So Knight with a good read on Porter Brown there, and he remains deadlocked at 2 hits on the season. He really can't catch a break because that was a lot of contact for a simple lineout. So here's Spencer Jones, 1 for 3 on the day with a single to center in the 3rd inning that nearly decapitated Zach Jacobs. And the breaking ball slices the zone for strike 1. Jacob Metter, the righty from TCU, seems to be settling down a little bit. A quick out on Porter Brown does him a big favor. No balls in the strike against the lefty from Vandy. The fastball got away from Metter, high and outside, count even at 1-1. 1 out, no one on, as the Red Sox lead 5-4 in the bottom of the 6th inning. The 1-1 to Metter. Fastball misses inside for ball 2. So you'd have to think that this is definitely Jacob Metter's last inning, and he might not even finish it, depending on the way it goes. There's some action in the Brewster bullpen. And a breaking ball is observed by Jones for strike 2. Jacob Metter working from the windup, spent most of the 5th from the stretch. And the 2-2. Fastball right by a swinging Jones for out number 2. The 2nd strikeout of the day for Spencer Jones, and the 6th of the day for YD pitching. 2 away in the bottom of the 6th. In comes Zach Neto with no one on in the bottom of the 6th inning. The right-handed hitter from Campbell University, hitting full-time for the Whitecaps, but he can pitch as well. In 2021, he had 21 innings pitched, lays down a beauty of a bunt down the 3rd base line. Zach Liu won't even bother to kick it into 5th gear from 3rd. He couldn't have tossed it any better. A perfect infield bunt single with 2 out for Zach Neto.
Now to the plate, the first baseman from Oklahoma State.
Neto's probably a pretty good bunter because of his days as a pitcher. A 3.43 ERA in 2021 for Campbell. Then again, he did hit 405 as a hitter. So,
yeah, he's a versatile 2-way player and doing a nice job in the middle of the order for Brewster this year.
Time is called after the long hold by Jason Klump, the home plate umpire. Jake Thompson, the left-handed hitter, playing first base today. 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a groundout, was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning. And a fastball misses high and outside. 1 ball, no strikes to Thompson.
And it'd be interesting to see how this bullpen construction is going to be for pitching coach Tom Vasella, head coach Scott Pickler. Who are they going to go with in the back end, a 1-run game?
Big 12 matchup here between the Oklahoma State Cowboy Thompson and the TCU Horned Frog Metter. Who's coming up on the 43rd pitch of his outing. From the stretch, he kicks and deals. That curveball continues to shine and keep him in these counts. Count even at 1-1 as Thompson just kept the bat on his shoulder for that one.
And in these close contests, they've favored on going to the Reed McLaughlins and the C.J. Culpeppers. You wonder if that's the case here.
Thompson chops it back to the pitcher Metter. He fields it with 2 hands and lofts it over to first in time. Side retired. No runs, 1 infield bunt single and 1 left on. And at the end of 6, it's 5 for YD and 4 for Brewster right here on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network.
Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. It's the top of the 7th, of 5-4 lead for the YD Red Sox. Just 3 hits, but 5 runs. Brewster with 7 hits and 4 runs, a 1-run advantage for YD as they come to the plate in the top of the 7th. Briley Knight, the first scheduled hitter for YD. And first pitch in there for strike 1 against the right-hander out of the bullpen for Brewster. Pete Hansen went 4 innings, and now Connor Stain in his 3rd inning of work out of the pen as Briley Knight launches this one to the right side. Back is Bingham, under it for a while, and then he gloves it for the first out as Briley Knight is retired. Had a sacrifice fly in the 4th and came around to score in the 3rd, and it flies out to right field to begin the 7th. And now Chase Luttrell will come off the bench to pinch hit for Tyler Williams. So Luttrell entering in his first at-bat of the day, and a rare off day for Chase Luttrell, his first of the season. The Long Beach State Dirtbag into the box. First offering, swing and a miss on the first offering from Connor Stain, the right-hander from Maryland. Luttrell 0 for his last 7 with 4 strikeouts, and 1 for his last 11 over the past 3 games. Nearly 40% of his at-bats have resulted in a strikeout. A very talented power hitter in Chase Luttrell. The 1-1 from Stain fouled away to the left side. And Stain, the 1-2 pitch. This is outside, so 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Chase Luttrell pinch hitting for Tyler Williams with 1 away, nobody on in the top of the 7th. And here comes the 2-2 pitch to Luttrell. Swing and a miss, and he climbs the ladder on the high pitch from the right-hander to put away Chase Luttrell. He comes off the bench to pinch hit for Tyler Williams, and he strikes out. So the 9th place spot in the order, 3 strikeouts. They flip it back over to Wyatt Hoffman. He's at the plate. Here in the top of the 7th, YD leads 5-4. 2 outs, nobody on, as Connor Stain working out of the bullpen. Here to Wyatt Hoffman, who doubled in the third and came around to score, hits this ball to the left side. Under it is Brown and left, and he moves a few steps to his left to make the play for out number 3. A 1-2-3 frame for the right-hander from Maryland. Connor Stain working effectively out of the bullpen for Brewster through 3 innings of work out of the pen. But it's a 5-4 lead for YD. Brewster comes to the plate in the bottom of the 7th next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network alongside Brad Klein. Will Connerly here with you. Bottom of the 7th, YD leads 5-4, and they go to the back end of the bullpen. The hard-throwing right-hander CJ Culpepper out of Cal Baptist, and the very talented this past year second-year freshman had an incredible season, and he's followed it up with a great campaign so far on the Cape. 5 outings, but he's yet to surrender a run. 4 2/3 and just 1 hit allowed, and the first pitch is in there for a strike on the first offering here for the right-hander CJ Culpepper to Alex Freeland, who's 1 for 2 today with 6 hits on the season, hitting under 200. Swing and a miss on the next offering, and CJ Culpepper ahead, 0-2 in the count. But Culpepper, he's just been really good. Fun to watch him on the mound. The right-hander at the back end of the pen for the YD Red Sox.
And maybe it's just me as someone who watches a lot of Mets baseball, coming from New Jersey in the tri-state area, but it looks like Noah Syndergaard at times. He looks like a major leaguer.
And strike 3 called. CJ Culpepper looking like he's ready for the show with the show he's put on here in the Cape thus far, as he gets a strikeout on the first batter. He sees Alex Freeland here in the bottom of the 7th. But CJ Culpepper through 5 outings has just surrendered 1 hit, no runs, 6 strikeouts now to 1 walk on the season for the reliever, who's primarily gone in short situations, first offering a strike to Will Simpson. Hasn't thrown more than 1 inning so far this season. He went 2/3 of an inning in his first appearance, and then the previous 4, he's gone 1 complete frame of work. Well, he's yet to surrender a run. You wonder if maybe they get a few frames of work for CJ Culpepper. His last outing came at Chatham on July 6th, though he's well rested in this situation where YD is holding on to a 1-run advantage. The 1-1 to Simpson, hit well to left field. Back is Tanner Smith at the track, and he catches it at the track for the second out.
Well, eventually, one day, C.J. Culpepper is going to give up a run. And you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen. It looked like it had happened with Will Simpson putting a really good swing on that ball.
He's going to give one up?
Eventually, at some point, at some level, at some year, a run will be allowed.
He may never give one up again.
Ever.
But yes, it was a jolt into the ball by Will Simpson there. First pitch misses outside to Trey Faltini. But yes, he will give up a run at some point, and it was a good swing by Simpson. He's actually done that twice now, put a jolt into the ball, but Tanner Smith has been there in left field both times. He hit the ball extremely hard his last two at-bats, but Tanner Smith was there. That time he had to run almost to the fence to catch that one as Culpepper misses on the first two offerings to Trey Faltini. The 2-0 pitch. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Good slider from C.J. Culpepper. And C.J. Culpepper playing at Cal Baptist, who just recently turned to the Division I level in 2019 as his pitch goes to the backstop, misfires for 3 balls and a strike now to Faltini. With 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 7th, 1-run lead for YD. They're very successful at the Division I level, and a big reason why, because Culpepper is the count's full after Faltini swings through the low fastball. Culpepper had 13 saves with a 3.3 ERA in 22 appearances out of the pen and was the WAC Freshman of the Year and first-team reliever in that conference. Shakes off Cody Huff once, kicks, and the full count pitch to Faltini. Swing and a miss. C.J. Culpepper got him. He comes out of the pen in the 7th and goes 1-2-3. After 7, YD leads 5-4. We'll go to the 8th next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Top of the 8th, 5-4 lead for the YD Red Sox, and a call to the bullpen for the Brewster Whitecaps left-hander Michael Prosecki now into the game. The lefty, 6'3", 200 out of Louisville. 8 2/3 tossed in the 2021 campaign, 8 earned runs. However, through 6 innings so far in the Cape, scattered over 4 outings, he's yet to surrender a run and has recorded 7 strikeouts. So he's been one of the premier arms for Brewster out of the bullpen. And first pitch fired a strike to Tanner Smith, 0-1 the count. His most recent outing came on the 7th against Hyannis, 2 innings and 3 strikeouts as Tanner Smith rifles it down the left field line foul. Did not allow a hit in his 2 innings of work on July 7th, making his 5th appearance of the summer. He's been pretty solid. Westchester, Illinois native. And the 6'4 lefty misses upstairs. They check down to third. He didn't go. Tanner Smith stays at the plate as the count now is a ball and 2 strikes. With nobody out, Tanner Smith beginning the 8th inning here against the new lefty, Michael Prosecki, and he fouls it away. Prosecki in the 2020 campaign with Louisville, 18 innings, surrendered 9 earned runs, 17 Ks, and 7 walks, was selected by the Phillies in the 35th round of the 2019 draft. Chopped to the right side and foul. Tanner Smith stands strong in this at-bat with multiple foul balls against the lefty to begin the 8th. YD holding on to a 5-4 lead right now despite being out-hit. They've been out-hit in their prior 4 games where their team average has just been $140 throughout those games. And today, a similar story, but the difference is they have the advantage on the scoreboard. Ball hit to Faltini at shortstop. Gathers, throws it over, and in time, Tanner Smith grounds out to short for the first out here in the top of the 8th.
That's a nice pitch by Prosecki. Almost blew it by Smith. He got the barrel on it, but it was very, very late. It was basically on the tail end of home plate, if you can imagine that. And he was very late. That's why it was a ground ball, slowly hit over to short. And that just speaks to the heat of Prosecki above the zone.
So Cody Huff settling into the box, and first pitch taken for a strike. Appeared to be a little bit inside, but 0-1 the count here against Prosecki. After he got Tanner Smith to ground out to begin the 8th. Grounded to the left side. Freeland over at third, across the diamond to first, and back-to-back ground outs as Cody Huff grounds out to third here in the 8th. 2 quick outs for the lefty, Michael Prosecki, and that brings up Peyton Graham with 2 outs, nobody on here in the 8th. YD at the plate, holding a 5-4 lead over the home team, the Brewster Whitecaps.
And in a way, there's no one better for YD to have at the plate right now than Peyton Graham. And it sounds weird because he's been struggling to hit, but he's the guy that you typically have at the top of the order as your table setter, a guy that can get on base when he's playing well. And again, he's not playing very well right now. But if you can turn it around and get on base, then you set up the meat of your order, what could be considered the meat of your order.
And chopped back up over to Prosecki, and an easy flip to first to Thompson as he comes in and gets a ground out to the shortstop, third baseman, and then gathers the final out of Peyton Graham himself. A flip over to first, and the side is retired in order for the lefty out of the pen. We go to the bottom of the 8th. YD leads 5-4. Next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Alongside Brad Klein, Will Connerly here with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. A 5-4 lead for YD right now, and they're in good hands. CJ Culpepper on the mound, his second frame of work. Went 1-2-3 with a couple strikeouts in the seventh, and Brady's been pretty successful, hoping to continue that trend for YD, protecting a one-run lead at Brewster.
At this point, you just wonder if you're Brewster, how do we stop him? Just hope that maybe his stamina isn't quite up to snuff and he can't get that 3-inning save. You got to go to someone else for the ninth because CJ Culpepper is absolutely rolling, not just today, but this year.
Breaking ball misses low and outside, so count evens at a ball and a strike after Biddison swung through the first offering. And that is a good point. CJ Culpepper hasn't gone beyond an inning thus far on the Cape. As the pitch misses outside. But maybe attempting to get the 3-inning save, protecting a one-run lead, it would be pretty impressive for Culpepper. And the 2-1 pitch to Biddison in there for a strike. And Biddison has had the best at-bat of the game so far. It came in the 5th against Jacob Metter with a couple runners in scoring position. And a 10-pitch at-bat resulted in 2 runs driven in. But this at-bat results in strike 3. C.J. Culpepper comes out of the bullpen and gets 3 strikeouts through first 4 he's seen. He's retired them all in order. And now Mac Bingham to the plate with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th.
3 strikeouts in an inning and a third for C.J. Culpepper. He's just letting it eat right now and mixing up his pitches so well. Starts with the fastball, though.
And the fastball there started off Mac Bingham for a strike. Nothing in 1 the count. And C.J. Culpepper, he was named an All-American for his outstanding season at Cal Baptist, swing and a miss on the next offering. He was one of the best freshman pitchers in the entire nation during the 2021 season, and you can say the same for the start he's had thus far on the Cape. He's only surrendered 1 base runner the entire season. Making his 6th appearance right now as the pitch misses low. Cody Huff going down to block it. Facing here off against Mac Bingham, who's 1 for 2 today, walked in the 2nd, had a single in the 4th, and flew out to Briley Knight in center field back in the 5th. Hitting here in the bottom of the 8th with 1 away. The 1-2 to Bingham. And strike 3 is called. C.J. Culpepper completely locked in as Bingham walks back to the dugout as C.J. Culpepper dials it up for strike 3. 4 strikeouts for C.J. Culpepper. He's recorded 5 outs. He's retired the first 5 hitters he's seen. 9 strikeouts now for C.J. Culpepper on the season and just 1 walk. He's actually surrendered 2 base runners on the season, 1 walk and 1 hit.
He gave up a hit.
He did give up a hit in his last outing. Had 4 hitless outings in his first 4 appearances. His most recent outing at Chatham surrendered a hit in a scoreless frame of work, but trying to come out of the bullpen and work extra. He's only gone his first time pitching more than 1 inning here this summer for the YD Red Sox. The 1-1. Grounded to the right side. Looks like a broken bat for Porter Brown as it was cracked over to the right side. The ball was, and the bat got cracked as well. So he'll go get himself some new lumber. And Brad, C.J. Culpepper, he tossed 30 innings at Cal Baptist this past season, but the longest he ever went was 2 1/3. That was on May 8th against Sacramento State. So if he were to go 3 innings, that would be the longest he has gone. And so interesting to see if they do opt to use C.J. Culpepper for the 3rd. If you dial it back the clock all the way to the 2020 season, the longest outing of his collegiate career is 4 innings, and that came in early February at Pacific, the home of his second baseman, Wyatt Hoffman. And he went 4 innings. That's the longest in his career. And he gets a strikeout of Porter Brown. C.J. Culpepper strikes out the side in order, and it's been 6 up, 6 down for the right-hander out of the bullpen. YD leads 5-4, and we send it out to the ninth next on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Back with you on the YD Red Sox Baseball Network. Pascal Ferreras, Drew Bowser, Zach Liu due up for the YD Red Sox in the top of the ninth. First pitch fouled back by Ferreras. But C.J. Culpepper, 2 scoreless frames. Out of the bullpen, he came in the 7th. Tossed zeros in the 7th and the 8th, going 6 up, 6 down with 5 strikeouts. He's been very impressive all season long. And the tallest chore for C.J. Culpepper coming today, in effect with the 3-out save being asked for. And C.J. Culpepper potentially to do that next half inning. A 5-4 lead for YD. Pascal Ferreras hitting here in the top of the ninth against the left-hander, Michael Prosecki. And the 1-1 pitch, breaking ball that misses high. So 2 balls and a strike to Ferreras. He singled in the 6th, walked and came around to score in the 4th, and struck out in the 2nd. And the lefty kicks and delivers. It misses high. Top of the ninth, 3-1 count. Pascal Ferreras leading off this inning. Ferreras with 9 hits on the season, and he takes a strike, so count runs full. 9 hits on the season, but 4 of them come against Brewster. His only multi-hit game came in the opener against the Whitecaps. Pitch up and in. Pascal Ferreras draws a walk to begin the ninth, and Drew Bowser to the plate. Bowser walked in the 4th, had a sacrifice fly RBI in the 6th.
The first baseman from Stanford, number 2.
And grounded out in the 2nd. Productive at bat, though, with the sacrifice fly RBI in the 6th. A much-needed run as YD just leads by a tally. 5-4 score in favor of the Red Sox in the top of the ninth. As Bowser was fooled on the first offering, check swings, goes around against the lefty, Michael Prosecki, who had a 1-2-3-8 but begins the ninth by issuing a walk to Pascal Ferreras. And the 0-1 offering to Bowser, foul back, and nothing into the count. YD trying to break out of a 1 for their last 3 skid. And they have a 1-run advantage with the last inning in effect right now for the YD Red Sox, leading 5-4 here at Brewster. Playing at Brewster for the second consecutive day, rather, in a 0-2 count to Bowser. Hit hard to the right side. And they fell yesterday, and Brewster took sole possession of first place in the East Division. However, the YD Red Sox could go back and even up not only the season series as they tied the first 2 times they met and then lost yesterday, but also become even with Brewster atop the East Division as the left-hander Prosecki misses on the 0-2 offering to Bowser. A ball and 2 strikes now.
And Will, I was just talking to Reed McLaughlin over in the YD bullpen. He told me that the 9th inning belongs to C.J. Culpepper.
Awesome. And that's great news for Red Sox fans. He's looked fantastic out of the pen as Drew Bowser swings through the pitch and is retired via a strikeout. First time he's gone down via a strikeout today. 0 for 2 with a walk and a sac fly, and Zach Liu now to the plate.
He also told me with the misty conditions at Stony Brook Field, the hitters are having a very, very tough time. He's splitting his time between the bullpen and the dugout as a player who's likely not going to see any playing time today because C.J. Culpepper is playing so well. And the hitters are talking a lot about it in the dugout, how the visibility is a big issue.
Yeah, and if C.J. Culpepper is able to record the final 3 outs, not only his longest outing of the season, but it would be the longest outing in the past year for the right-hander from Cal Baptist. Just went 2+ for his most innings pitched. He was the closer at Cal Baptist. Not usually expected to go 3 innings, but would be a very impressive 3-inning save if Culpepper is able to do it. But the first 2 frames indicate that he's completely locked in with a 6-up, 6-down, 5 strikeout performance as Zach Liu takes the 3rd consecutive ball from Prosecki. Now on a 3-ball, no strike count with 1 out. Pascal Ferreras led off the inning with a walk. Bowser struck out, and now Zach Liu in a 3-0 count. With Briley Knight waiting on deck. The 3-0 misses upstairs, and now Knight comes up with runners on first and second, and maybe they can get a little insurance for C.J. Culpepper, who will toe the rubber in the bottom frame of the 9th.
And this is something that Scott Pickler hasn't thought of. It's way too far down the line, but you have to wonder, is the 9th inning C.J. Culpepper's unconditionally? Let's say YD scores a handful of runs here. You going to go with C.J. Culpepper for 3 more outs? Again, it's a question that's not worth asking right now, but something that Pickler has to start thinking about.
Pitch misses upstairs, and for what it's worth, I think that the answer to that question would have to be yes, because you'd have to give a lot of time for someone to warm up in that situation, and definitely hard for a pitcher to get hot on short notice, and Culpepper already hot and locked in, and he's limited his pitches because he's just mowed through the order of the Whitecaps, or at least the first 6 hitters he's seen, retired them in a row as Briley Knight swings through the high fastball. A ball and a strike with 1 out and runners on first and second. And yeah, the conditions that you described and potentially are affecting the hitters. YD with 3 hits today, 5 runs though, leading by a run.
And it's only getting worse with the
fog,
light, the fog, the mist, and the darkness.
And right now a 1-ball, 2-strike count with an out. No lights, foggy, misty, and dark here at Stony Brook Field, but all that can turn to brightness potentially for YD Red Sox fans if they can pick up the victory. The 1-2. And it's strike 3 called. Briley Knight rung up on the outside fastball. A walk, a strikeout, a walk, and a strikeout. And there's 2 outs and 2 on for Chase Luttrell.
Now batting the right fielder from Long Beach
Well,
State,
perfect
number
storm
6,
for Luttrell here against the lefty who's throwing pretty well. The left-handed hitting Luttrell with very low visibility is in a big spot here.
Chase Luttrell 0 for 1 came in to pinch hit for Tyler Williams in the 7th. Williams was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. As Luttrell takes the first pitch upstairs, Luttrell struck out as well in the 7th. As Prosecki comes set. Runners on first and second. The 1-0 pitch hit to the left side by Chase Luttrell. Going back on it is Brown. Brown not able to get to it. It's down in left field. Pascal Ferreras comes around to score. Luttrell into second. And here comes home Zach Liu. It's a 2-out, 2 RBI double for Chase Luttrell. And YD takes a bigger advantage 7-4. They're on top here in the ninth.
Well, low visibility for the hitters and Chase Luttrell. That means there's also low visibility for Porter Brown, the left fielder. He has a lot of speed. I actually think he might have had a chance to catch up to it if he was able to see it well. He got a bad break on it because of the visibility, what seems like because of the low visibility. And now, one swing later, it's a 3-run game with Luttrell on second base.
And now that first offering from Prosecki gets behind Nick Biddison, the catcher, and 90 feet more, Chase Luttrell advances. So he goes to third with 2 outs. Now the umpires are all going to come first. Jason Klump, Bill Julie, James Fonseca, action in YD's bullpen now. Umpires are going to talk. Are they going to potentially call this one? And potentially, yes, they do. YD had the 3-run lead, and it's all she wrote. C.J. Culpepper was going to toe the rubber. No more, though. He throws the final 2 frames, and the game is called after a wild pitch is thrown. Well, Wyatt Hoffman is mid-at-bat, and the game washed away. Final score, though, 7-4. YD gets the victory, and they break out of that 1 for their last 3 slump, and they are neck and neck now with Brewster atop the East Division. And Brad, you go to the ballpark every day, you tell me you like seeing things you haven't seen. Have you seen that before?
Cancel the game mid-at-bat in the top half of the 9th inning, where Brewster is entitled to last licks, and they don't get it. Typically, if you're going to call a game, it has to be before the inning starts.
Let's be honest. They didn't want to see C.J. Culpepper.
No, but they'd like to have a chance to win the game, right?
Absolutely,
and it's on the umpires to decipher, okay, before we start this 9th inning, are we going to make it through the 9th? And they thought the answer was yes. It was no.
It's such an anticlimactic way to end a game. Mid-at-bat, Wyatt Hoffman, however, it's a W in the column for YD, and they'll ride that into the off day tomorrow. They'll be back at home. They host Chatham on Thursday, the 15th. Chatham will travel to Red Wilson Field at 5 o'clock. Next time we're in action, you can catch us how you're listening now on YouTube. We'll be live at 4:50. Come on at 4:55. First pitch at 5 o'clock, and we'll be with you then. But that's a final here from Stony Brook Field. 7-4, YD leads, and they win the game 7-4 as well after scoring 2 runs in the 9th, and then they wash it all away. The fog, the mist, the dark got too much in the playing conditions. They held up for 9 innings, but then called mid-inning, and YD gladly takes the victory. 7 runs, 4 hits, 1 error for YD, 4 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for Brewster. And it's C.J. Culpepper coming out of the bullpen, 2 perfect innings of work after Jacob Metter and Zach Jacobs had the first half of the game, and YD wins it. For Brad Klein, I'm Will Connerly, and have a good rest of your evening. So long from Stony Brook Field.